Welcome back to SportsCenter with our breaking news. Hannah Storm and Jay Harris with you. Congratulations to Giannis and everyone in Milwaukee as he has agreed and announced on Twitter that he will sign a 5-year, $228 million supermax extension, putting him in Milwaukee for years to come. Apparently, it was a very thoughtful decision. The deadline was December 21st, so a few days early. A huge sigh of relief from Milwaukee and the Bucks franchise. In here with insight is Adrian Wojnarowski. So what more can you tell us?
Hannah, I just talked to his agent, Alex Saratzis, with Octagon. And just as you said, Hannah, this was a decision he had to think long and hard about, and ultimately got back to the fact that I think ultimately for him, he feels like he grew up in Milwaukee, and he has a great affinity, a love for that organization. And believes that he can win there, and I think and win in an organization that he feels, in a community he feels very strongly about. The idea of going elsewhere and being part of a super team ultimately didn't appeal to him, Hannah, as much as it did continuing to try to win in Milwaukee. He's had a chance in this training camp and early preseason to see in action and on the floor and get to know some of his new teammates, and likes the direction of where this is headed. But 5 years, $228 million. I'm also told, Hannah, in that extension, he'll have a player option, an ability to opt out of the deal after the 4th year of the contract.
So when they were unable to execute this sign and trade for Bogdanovic, that made a lot of people sort of nervous. Were they going to be able to put together a group of players where he felt like they could start to really match their regular season expectations and have more postseason success with this team, with the championship being the goal? Are they done? Do they feel like all the pieces are in place now, Woj?
Well, certainly for this season, this is your team. Bringing in Drew Holiday from New Orleans was certainly, an impactful signing or an impactful trade for them, and they'll work very hard to re-sign Holiday. That becomes a lot easier, I think, from Drew Holiday's perspective, knowing that Giannis is going to be there, but having Chris Middleton locked up and players like Brook Lopez back, this is a core he believes in, and a group again that has had most of this group together. Obviously, there's some changes now that have had great regular season success. They've got to figure out how to translate that into the postseason, but his commitment is to do it in Milwaukee, stay there, and ultimately he knew what the options were going to be for him in free agency next summer, and decided that what he has in Milwaukee beats the rest of it, and certainly that contract puts him at the very top of the list of contracts that anyone has done in league history. And now Giannis Antetokounmpo, who was drafted by the Bucks, who signed an extension, now has signed a second extension that takes him through the prime of his career with Milwaukee. For John Horster, general manager, and owner Mark Lazary, this is a huge coup for Milwaukee, and I think for smaller market teams all over the NBA to be able to keep a player of this stature. This is a big day for the Bucks.
I mean, this is where he literally grew up. This is his home here in the United States. I mean, he feels so emotionally tied to the city. But you just mentioned being a smaller market, and we've seen it again and again, that players eventually leaving markets like this for maybe more glitz, maybe more glamour, to team up with another superstar, to chase that title, to chase the lights. Why is this such a unique situation?
Well, I just think it speaks to who Giannis Antetokounmpo is, and how he was raised in Athens, and his family, and just how he views loyalty and commitment. And I think part of what took him maybe more time to make this decision was he takes very seriously the idea of making a commitment, that it isn't just, well, hey, I can sign and then I could force a trade in a couple of years. James Harden has 3 years left on his contract, as an example, and can force a trade and likely will at some point get out of Houston. He looks at it differently, and in his mind, making a commitment is just that. And so he had to think through this. This was a huge decision for him, and believing that he could win with the Bucks, and now he's done that, and he's committed, and they can continue now to build a roster around Giannis in Milwaukee.
Yep, has the MVP, has the best regular season record, and now a chance to really do something special for the history of that franchise and win a championship at some point. It'll be a fascinating few years, and Woj, as always, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Hannah.
Hannah, Giannis is a two-time reigning league MVP. The scary thing is he is still improving. His scoring and rebounding averages have gone up every season in the NBA. Last season, he averaged 29.5 points and 13.6 boards a game. He is the first player to hit those averages for a season since Shaq did it back in the 99-2000 season.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.